And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soul Survivor podcast. Ryan and I are back to recap Survivor 49, episode 6. It's good to be back. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, Dylan. I'm gonna give you a handshake because I don't think a hug would be genuine enough. But I think you'll settle for the handshake for now, and hopefully I can give you a hug in the future. So
Yeah, look, that sounds good to me. It sounds good to me. But I mean, what a hilarious ending to that episode. I'm excited to recap this one. Obviously, it's been a couple weeks since we've recapped, but I think me and you both, Ryan, were a little bit not as high, I would say, on the season to start out. And tonight was a really, really good episode, in my opinion. One that I was super excited about. And I think it was my favorite episode so far this season. So excited to talk about it.
yeah, definitely the best episode of the season. I can't wait to get into it all. I mean, clearly this was the ending of the Shannon and Sage story arc, which we've been seeing for weeks now. Like you said, we've only recorded, I think, once or twice so far before this episode. And we got like a little bit of a tease, like, oh, Shannon likes her, but Sage does not like Shannon. And finally, it all culminates in this, blind side of Shannon by Sage. So I can't wait to kind of break it all down.
Yeah, and I mean, I was shocked last week when there was no preview for Mergatory, and and here we are. We got another tribe swap, which I don't really know what I was expecting here. I don't think I expected another tribe swap. I don't think that they teased that in the preview, did they?
I gotta go back and look. I think maybe like for a split second, the camera panned over like a 3-tribe challenge. Maybe you think, oh, the Earn the Merge will maybe be 3 tribes this season. So I didn't expect them to do the whole, like, we're going to do one more swap before merge. But look, Dylan, I mean, in this new era where they constantly do Earn the Merge, if they are going to swap that out for like a one-time tribe swap, I'm okay with that. They've done that before. They did that, I think, like in Gabon. They've done that in other seasons where it's like, hey, we've already swapped. We're going to do like a one-time swap again before we actually merge. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I was going to say it felt kind of like an older school Survivor type thing that we have not seen in a while. That was pretty cool. I was fine with me. I'm sure there are people that will complain going back to 3 tribes. We already added 3 tribes. It's super small tribes, less dynamic. And I think that is potentially true, but I like the idea of switching it up instead of just running back. I like the idea of tribe swaps, especially because we were without them for so long. So it's like we have tribe swaps back. I'm not complaining now. I like tribe swaps. So
yeah, anything that makes things feel fresh with the new era being a lot of the same, anything that changes things up, we welcome it. I'll say 2 quick things that, it's our first time ever swapping from 3 to 2 to 3. Like even in Cambodia, they started with 2, they swapped to 3, and then for the I think it was for the Wu vote, they swapped to back to 2 tribes just for 1 vote. So kind of the same thing, but it was 2-3-2. We've never had 3 to 2 back to 3. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing, Dylan, I think we got very lucky because I think if yellow or red lost, both would have been like slam dunk votes for either MC or Nate, which we can get into those dynamics. But I think yellow and red would have been more slam dunks. And tonight was the best result, honestly, in terms of blue going to tribal. So.
Right. So I said that me and you have been low on the season. I think the thing that's kept me kind of intrigued is that I think the boot order has been good, right? Like, I think that none of the people that I was like super intrigued about early on have gone home yet. And I think that the Shannon Sage thing ending tonight, we kind of knew that this was going to come pretty soon, right? So expected. I had enough of Shannon. I was ready for her to go. I think here's what I'll say about Shannon. I think that she could have been potentially one of the least self-aware people I've ever seen on the show. And I don't even know if I want to call her like least authentic, because I think she might have been authentic, but just like couldn't almost tried to separate the game so much from real that it was like, I think she just lost track of what even she was doing. But I would say least self-aware player I've seen in a long time. And I mean, it came back to bite her. I mean, everybody saw right through it. Everybody knew she was playing the game hard, and she was playing super sloppy. She tried to play with basically everybody on the beach, right? And that never works out. So I'm happy to see Shannon go personally. And I think that, like, again, it's a pretty good boot order. And I think that there are a lot of things that happened this episode that are setting up for what's going to be a really entertaining post-merge.
Absolutely, yeah. Because the whole season's theme, because the first act of the show, so to say, was blue getting decimated. So basically now we're in Act Two, which is red versus yellow, and the merge is going to be our like our final act in a way where it's like, oh, it's still in a way red versus yellow, but now this is the first vote where people have actually turned on their own. So is that gonna, to your point, still make it red versus yellow at merge? Because right now I think it's now it's a 5-4-2 split overall. Or are now the Nates and the Savannahs and the Rizzos of the world, are they gonna be like, ooh, we don't want to work with Sage and Jawan anymore because they flipped on one of our own? So it's gonna be setting up for the future. And I'm excited to see what happens at merge next week.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, I don't know if I froze or if you froze, but if you
Too era.
Mhm.
Can you hear me? I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, I lost you for 30 seconds, but you're good now.
Okay, cool.
So what were you saying?
Yeah, I think first of all, my Wi-Fi has been spotty all night, and then the other thing is, I think this new it might be the new camera that's using a little bit more power that might be screwing it up. But to go back to what I was saying, sorry for everybody that's listening. We're back. We're back. All right. I think that while another new era pre-merge is in the books, I just want to say, let's hope that Survivor 50 is the last of the 3 tribe format to start out. I just think that, it like you said, right now it's like a 6-5 split between red and yellow, and blue got decimated. This seems like a common theme pretty much of every new era season, right? One tribe gets decimated, the other tribes are like trying to gain numbers against each other, and then you get moments like tonight where people are like Jawan, hear Shannon literally going against him, and he's like, I don't know if I should do it because we got to stay red strong, right? So I think that this is like, again, basically, if you're going on New Era Survivor, your plan should just be, I got to get the strong 4 and hope that we win some challenges early on. And if you could do that, then you're in an amazing spot. Like, we've seen this in Survivor 45. We've seen this in Survivor, 47 to an extent. Like, getting a strong tribe at the beginning, like, it really could help you go pretty far into the game. So I do think that we're due for a switch in the format, and that's one thing I want to say before we get super into the vote here.
Yeah, no, I do think that's a common problem with the 3 tribe format, and I think also, and that's why in general I think people like having bigger tribes. One, because 2 tribes is easier to follow than 3, but also because you want more options as a viewer. And I think going into tribal with more options is better than few. Like, obviously, again, we got lucky that there was the whole Sage and Shannon feud, because 4 people going to tribal means there's literally nowhere to hide. And it could have been, again, if red or yellow lost, I think it would have been an easy 3-1 MC goes, easy 3-1 Nate goes. So I do think we got lucky with that feud, but also, like, that's to your point, when you have smaller tribes, there's less options and it makes it a bit more, kind of boring in some certain senses. So I'm happy they tried two tribes again for a few episodes. Clearly they couldn't resist and went back to 3, but I'm happy it's replacing or the merge, what it looks like. And yeah, after 50, hopefully they go back to 2 and kind of just try that again.
Yeah, that's what I would like. But let's break down these new tribes. So, new yellow tribe, MC, Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie. I mean, as soon as we all saw this tribe, we're like, oh, they better not go to tribal council, right? But I think that the one thing that I think has been kind of tough with the season, and I mean, it is what it is. It's been a while since we've had players play back-to-back returnee seasons, but it's always so weird because it's like every time that I think that Rizzo and Savannah have been in like a kind of sticky situation, it's like, all right, that they're going to prevail, right? At least for now. So I think that's been a little bit tough, but so I mean, I think we all kind of had a feeling that tribe was not going to tribal council because MC has a blue air advantage. There's a decent chance that one of Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie would have gone home. So happy that didn't happen. But that was the new yellow tribe. The new blue tribe, we have Jawan, Sage, Shannon, Steven. That was the tribe that went to tribal. Shannon goes home. New red tribe, Alex, Nate, Christina, and Sophie. Shout out to Sophie for finally getting some confessionals tonight. How about that? The red, original yellow Sophie, I should say.
Well, not only, sorry, which Sophie you're saying?
I'm saying the purple Sophie.
Yes,
has finally gotten.
This was like, and listen, I'm not gonna compare her to your girl Genevieve, but like this was her in a sense, like coming out episode where she really has had nothing for 5 episodes, and finally she's getting more airtime, slowly becoming more part of the strategy and we'll talk about it, where she doesn't like her name being used as a decoy. So hopefully this means purple, or formerly yellow Sophie, is going to get more airtime. I thought you were referring to the other Sophie, originally blue Sophie, where Dylan, if you don't count the Jake Medevac, this is the first tribal council Sophie has not been at.
Crazy.
So she finally got a break. She finally ate and finally got a break tonight. So
yeah, and just talking back to that new yellow tribe, right? I think MC seems to be the strongest, potentially the strongest from yellow in terms of her position in the game. She has that beware advantage. She's been the strongest competitor in challenges. And then you have Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie. Rizzo and Savannah just cannot be separated, I guess. They are literally have gone tribe to tribe to tribe together. They are working together, and they're going to play next season together. So I am very curious to see how that plays out here. Then you have, like I said, Sophie, who seemed, it's funny because I almost forget that Sophie was on Blue Tribe because she's so in with Red, with the original Red at this point. She's so in with Rizzo and so in with Savannah. So happy that tribe fully survived. Now one thing I do want to touch on real quick while we're talking about this yellow tribe, Sophie finds an advantage, and they have brought back something that is I'm gonna be unbelievably controversial.
You know what? Finish the thought, but go ahead. Go ahead.
And the knowledge is power is back. Sophie has the knowledge is power, but the best part about the knowledge is power, she didn't tell anyone. How about that? Not telling anybody about an advantage. Haven't heard of it anytime recently.
Well, novel concept, not telling anyone. I was going to say, and maybe I'm being sacrilegious here. You know what? I'm glad they brought it back. You want to know why? Because, like you just said, if in these last 5-6 seasons, no one can keep a single thing a secret, good. Maybe throw it back in the game and people will learn to stop talking about their advantages if they are like, oh shit, knowledge is power is back. I can't say anything now. Maybe people will actually realize to not say anything. So maybe this is a good thing they're throwing it back in there, because no one apparently can keep their mouth shut for 2 minutes. So
right. And I thought a super interesting thing about this is Sophie finds it. She doesn't tell anyone. She knows Rizzo has the idol. Okay. But everybody knows Rizzo has the idol, and MC, to build trust with Rizzo, literally goes to him and is like, Sage basically told everybody that you have the idol. So I have a feeling that not that she would have been working with them come Mergatory, but I have a feeling that Sage will for sure be on the outs of kind of just anywhere she goes for now. I think she'll be a floater, and I certainly don't think that Red is going to trust her going forward. So I just thought that whole dynamic was interesting. Again, Sophie gets the knowledge of power, knowing where the idol is. Rizzo has an idol that everybody knows he has the idol. And he kind of had a different take on it than I think a lot of people would. He's like, I like that everybody knows. I want people to fear me. Now, of course, that could be a double-edged sword. I do think it probably would be in his best interest to maybe hold on to the idol a few more episodes, but I don't think that it's in his best interest to continue to hold on to this idol with every single person knowing that he has the idol. So
yeah,
I'm curious your thoughts here.
I don't want to say that he should waste it, but I feel like at this point in the game, especially if you're going to be merging and, Red's going to be an overall bigger target because they had the most people, I feel like if you are able to, in a way, if you can kind of just burn it, like if everybody knows you have it, maybe it's just safer, because then that just really shrinks your threat level. It's like, oh, I'm just going to burn the idol. Everyone knows about it. It almost can be seen as a misplay in some way. And sure, I mean, obviously he would love to use it in a powerful spot to take out someone that he's not working with. But I do think, to your point, you got to use it sooner than later. You can't just hold on to it forever because everyone's going to start looking at you. And yeah, and I thought this was a very interesting move from MC to tell him like, hey, everyone knows you have it. I don't know if it would have obviously saved her tonight because I still think she goes home 3-1 unless she finds the idol with the Beware advantage and she then plays her idol. But now with some lines being blurred at merge, if MC can use this to kind of like, gain some trust with Rizzo and Savannah, I feel like that was a good move for her. Like it's kind of like a Hail Mary. It's like, I'm only going to be safe tonight if we lose and I find the idol. If I don't, I'm 100% gone. It's kind of like a Hail Mary play. I don't mind it. So hopefully that will pay dividends for her in the future. And yeah, like you said, I think this is kind of strike 2 for Sage. Strike 1 obviously is, when they get to merge, they're going to see, oh, she voted out Shannon. And number 2, it's that, oh, you told everybody that Rizzo has an idol. So Sage is going to have, I think Sage is a very fun character. It was so much fun to watch her feud, but like, I do think she's going to be in a very bad spot at merge because of this. The only thing I could think of before we move on is like, how could Sage and I guess Jawan spin it? Like, could they just simply be like, look, we wanted to stay red strong, but she threw out Jawan's name. She threw out my name. She's throwing out everyone's name. Like we had no choice. Like she was just throwing us all under the bus. So we'll see if they can bounce back from this. But I do think it was an interesting move for MC.
Yeah, I think it was a good move. I feel like it does gain some trust with them, and I think that it also just kind of extends an olive branch for, again, like you said, post merge. Like I don't think that MC is going to get targeted immediately by the Red Tribe. So I think it was a good move. Let's talk about the new Red Tribe here, because I think you mentioned something that's super interesting in the fact that Nate would have been in huge trouble had they lost, and it looked like they were going to lose. So literally, he basically saved his own life by doing that maze puzzle, or I shouldn't say puzzle, but maze thing at the end of that challenge. You kind of had a little bit of Sophie saying like, "I want to get rid of Christina," but I don't really know if that was going to happen. Like, I think that with Yellow's kind of down in the numbers that they would have gone for Nate. So super lucky for him to pull out that challenge, because I do think he was in trouble. If they had lost that. So, that was definitely a scary spot for him. And I think that he is such an integral part of the dominant alliance. So it would have certainly been interesting had he gone out at this point.
Yeah, that was like the main thing we got from Red tonight. I actually do think that we got obviously the most from Blue, but even a little bit from Yellow. We got like not a lot from Red. Because again, like he is the only one that was not a swapped Yellow Tribe member. And they were like, oh well, they can feel comfortable so he doesn't play an idol or shot in the dark. I find it very interesting that Christina did this. I still don't know why people ever think telling someone you're the decoy vote is a good idea. I mean, obviously the whole thing with, Genevieve and, Keyshawn or whatever in 47, like it never is a good thing. I even remember like the first episode of Game Changers. Like, I mean, granted, Michaela almost got herself sent home, but it was like, everyone said, oh, we're voting out Sierra. We're just going to tell, her that you're the vote. And Michaela almost like, almost wanted to kill them. It's like, it just never works out to tell someone they're going to be the decoy votes, because it just instantly loses that trust. Because like Sophie said, like, oh, Christina, we're both former Yellow, but when push comes to shove, you see me as expendable. You're rather going to save Steven and MC over me. Like I'm the least expendable. I'm the most expendable one. So yeah, I do think, Dylan, this was a red herring by the editors. I don't think if Red actually lost, I don't think they were going to flip on Christina over Nate. I think Nate still would have been gone. But this could be a seed that's being planted for the merge. And if, there ever becomes another moment where Christina, gives Sophie doubt, Sophie's going to remember back to, well, she floated my name as a decoy. I'm okay if Christina goes. So this could be a future rift, kind of like we've seen before.
Yeah, I think I could see Christina being in trouble next week. I think she might be an easy vote, right? She doesn't have an advantage. I think Sophie would be okay. I mean, we know Sophie would be okay putting her name down. Red has the majority. We know original Blue Sophie is gonna go with the Red Tribe. So it's like I do think that that is going to be the majority, and I think that like the yellow being down in the numbers wouldn't mind losing Christina just to advance themselves further in the game. So I do think Christina's in trouble next week. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is a kind of preview of what is to come.
Yeah. No, so I mean, I think that, it's clear heading into next week, and I still do want to talk about like, everything we saw with this blue tribe that loses, but I think it's clear that next week you have again your 5 red, which is Sophie. See, I already got messed up. We have our 5 original red, which is Savannah, Rizzo, Nate, and then you have Jawan and Sage. But the first 3, Nate, Rizzo, and Savannah, were aligned from the beginning with Shannon, and now it's Jawan and Sage have voted out Shannon. So now it becomes there's 5 is the majority for red, but are the 5 of them going to come back together, or are the 3-person group of Nate's, Rizzo, and Savannah going to say, we can kind of maybe sacrifice, Jawan and Sage if we have to. That's the 5. And then you have the 4 of, MC, Christina, Steven, and Sophie with the E. And I think from the first episode, MC and Steven are really close. I think they like Christina, but now Sophie with an E is like mad at Christina. So we'll see how that goes. And I still think, Dylan, intentional Matt Singh, we talk about it. This is still great for Alex and Blue Sophie, where I don't know if anyone's looking at that, because Sophie has been absorbed into the red tribe with Savannah. And I think Alex has a lot of options in terms of like he's now aligned with both Sophies. I think other people on the season like him. So I still do think whether red and yellow still go for each other or whether they start to fight against themselves, I still don't see people going for Alex or Sophie right now, honestly. I don't know how much of that, I don't know how much that you caught. I don't know if you froze again, but
yeah, no, I heard it. I think, I think Sophie and Alex are gonna be with most of the original red, right? I think that the Sophie Alex bond will remain right from the beginning. They're tied together, and then I think Sophie is gonna be with the red for the rest of the game, right? It's just a matter of, like you said, is Jawan and Sage going to be included in that? My takeaway is that they're going to use Jawan and Sage for another vote or two, and then I think they're going to be willing to cut them right away. So I think there's no reason for. I don't really think that they'll be too mad at Shannon going home. I mean, granted, they already all kind of have problem. At least Savannah has a problem with Jawan, so maybe it will annoy her. Maybe she will go with Jawan, but I don't think it's smart gameplay to play with your emotions like that. I think you have to use Jawan and Sage for these next few votes, and then once you maybe get to, let's say, final 9, then I think you could start going for the Jawans and the Sages of the world. So I think that they'll bring them back in for a few more votes. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the story of the season. So now that they've lost one of their own, Red's going to maybe want to try to stick together for another vote or two just to maintain that majority and then start to kind of have that infighting. Because I think if they continue to, and we see this happen all the time, right? Like, obviously Samoa is the most famous example where, a tribe goes into the merge with the numbers, they completely like cannibalize themselves, and then the minority wins the day. So yeah, I could see a scenario, Dylan, where Red sticks together and they try to knock off like MC or Steven, and then, oh, okay, now we can get rid of Sage and Jawan. But I could also see a scenario where like they immediately, and also this is going to tie into a point I'll make later. I could see Savannah wanting to take revenge and goes for Sage, and then all of a sudden now Yellow's going to have the momentum, and then Yellow picks off the red. But to that point, Dylan, I got to say I'm loving the bitterness. I'm loving the fighting. I feel like we finally have some. I mean, I know Jeff says we don't have villains anymore, but it's like we finally have some, people getting mad at each other. We finally have like no more kumbaya. So I feel like, Sage and Shannon didn't get along, although it's very one-sided. Savannah, by the way, just gets pissed off at anything. Savannah gets mad at Jawan taking her bag. She got mad that Alex said they caught like they had like what did they say? Oh, we had chicken last night. She's like, you're fucking pissing me off. Like Savannah just gets mad at everything. So I'm glad we finally have some like hostile feelings again.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, the Sage Shannon ending. Oh, am I frozen? Are you frozen? Are you good?
I'm good. You were frozen for 2 seconds, but yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, apologies for the Wi-Fi issues tonight to everybody listening. Okay. Sage Shannon at the end was unbelievably funny. I mean, come on, I not hugging her and be like, I want us to be authentic, so I'm gonna shake your hand. I mean, it's ridiculous. Do you get Carolyn vibes from Sage? I can't. Every time she makes like a facial expressions, I'm like, this they casted her because she reminded them of Carolyn. Like that had to be what it is. Like I think that when she's like in full action, she is a like Carolyn Light. Um,
She's
I
very
don't know if I like that, but like I like Carolyn, but I don't know if I like a Carolyn Light. Like it's like
yeah.
Carolyn's great because she's so far on that end of the spectrum of like just all over the place. Sage is like a lot of the way there, but like also like I don't think she's as good at the game as Carolyn, so it's a weird scenario for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why everyone loved Carolyn, because Carolyn was just, super authentic. She wasn't like, she wasn't trying to ham things up. That's just who Carolyn is. She's just very authentic. And I think Sage, to your point, is kind of the same. Where Sage, she wears her emotions on her sleeve, and she's very expressive in her face. And it's just every time, she's smiling at Shannon, and then Shannon turns away, and she's like just making a face like the minute she turns away, which is so funny. Because Dylan, I don't know if we've seen a one-sided feud like this since I mean, I guess Kyle and Sue in 47 was one-sided, but I mean, I haven't seen a one-sided feud like this in so long, where it's like Shannon thinks there's nothing wrong and they're friends, and Sage is like, I really hate you so much. And it just made this story arc so funny. And again, you knew we were hurtling to this point because from episode 1, everyone's like, oh, Shannon's nice, but she's playing really hard. Steven even called it when he first saw her. He's like, yeah, she is really sharky. And they even gave her, Dylan, if you remember episode 1, they even gave her the freaking Aubrey montage where she goes to everybody's like, oh, I feel good about you. I feel good about you. I feel good about you. It's like, it's never a great sign. So yeah, I think Shannon is somebody who, to your point, she obviously had a game sense, like in terms of trying to make connections, but she was really playing a little too hard and sloppy. And everybody, just caught on to it. And yeah, no, but just to say again, I think that's why everyone's going to remember the pre-merge. It was not a very exciting pre-merge, Dylan, but I think the two things you'll remember is Jake's medevac, and you're going to remember Sage and Shannon's feud. So
Yeah, I think all true. We had a reward challenge tonight. Nothing like too crazy there. I mean, Christina had that moment that I mean, it wasn't really that crazy. She's like kind of almost passed out. So they had to just tend to her. Grilled cheese, chips, iced tea. Oh, iced tea. Chips. Yeah. It's a pretty good reward though. I gotta give him credit. If I was out there and I heard grilled cheese, iced tea, and chips, I'd be pretty excited also. One thing I do want to talk about, there was one thing that I thought they so intentionally put in there, which I thought was awesome today. But the Rizzo goes fishing montage was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But I think that the part that was great that they intentionally put in there is he was like, oh, like I used to think about Ozzy. I used to watch Ozzy growing up fishing and all this stuff. And here I am. I'm like, we know that next season, Rizzo and Ozzy are on the same beach. And here we are. So I just thought it was pretty cool because it got me excited for season 50. And I think it's going to be absolutely beyond hilarious to watch like Rizzo just like fan out over these people and all these old survivors and be like, we literally have no idea who you are. And we've never seen you play before. And it's going to be on like, if like him and Kobe interacting is going to be the funniest thing of all time. So, and then with the scuba gear in his mouth, managed to get out the man, the myth, the legend, Rizgod, Rizgod. So, I mean, this guy he's a ridiculous character. It's fun to watch.
CRINGE cringe god baby. This is just it's tough. It's tough. He seems like a nice kid. I'm really hoping we see at the merge what he and Savannah do to earn that spot, because so far I haven't, I mean, other than him finding an idol, I haven't seen a single thing yet. And I'm really hoping they come swinging at the merge, because again, not to rehash 50, we're going to have a bunch of 50 coverage, obviously, when that happens. But it's like, for all the names we didn't get on 50, I better see something to warrant the spot. again, and the problem is, like, and I think I'm so glad you brought up Carolyn, because it's like, Carolyn's not hamming it up for the cameras. That's just who she is. I feel like Rizzo, he's hamming it up for the cameras in terms of, you know, I refuse to say it, but the RIZGOD, and he's saying that. He's like, everything's absolute cinema. Like, this is a movie. Just like, it's all, he's hitting all the hits. And I feel like it's hamming it up a lot. But we'll see what happens though. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. My anticipation for the rest of this season is, I think that group of Savannah, Rizzo, Sophie, and Nate, I think that they're gonna, I don't know if I want to say dominate. I think that they're gonna have their way for a while. And I know Rizzo does have the idol. Savannah playing a pretty dominant game, right? So I'm very curious to see how that continues. Sophie has the knowledge of power now, so I'm curious to see what happens. But I think that they're in all of them with Nate are in a really, really good spot. So that's how I see it going. Now, the only last thing that I definitely think we need to hit on here. Do we think that it was for sure the right move to get at Shannon? Or, you know, we saw Jawan kind of second guessing himself and is like, I don't know, like, Red Strong. Like, do we think it was the right move for them to get out Shannon here? Or should they have kind of just got out Steven here and then kind of just tried to ride with Red a few more votes before eventually cannibalizing each other? Curious what you think. And yeah.
It's tough, right? Because I think now 2 weeks in a row, people are overly scared for some reason about, like, well, we can't make it seem like it's red versus yellow. It's like, well, that kind of just is what it is when you have these tribes the way they are and blue keeps losing. It really is going to become red versus yellow, and you're not going to be able to do much about it until you get to merge and you start to make new alliances and new bonds. And it's tough, right? Because on one hand, I feel like the right move, honestly, is like, you don't need to get Shannon out now, because, I mean, clearly, even though Sage doesn't like her, Shannon's not coming for Sage. I mean, yeah, she threw Jawan's name out to save Steven, but if you're Sage, she's not coming for you. And when you all get to merge, you're all kind of together, although obviously at some point you're going to be kind of on the bottom when, you know, she rejoins Nate and Rizzo and Savannah. So I really don't think you needed to do it now. I think you could have waited one more week, kind of kept your red group together, and then maybe at merge after a vote or two, then you flip over to yellow, and maybe that's when you take a shot at Shannon. So I feel like the safer move, I think, would have just been Steven, because you also break up that Steven MC relationship, and Steven seems pretty well connected. But look, I mean, I can't even, Dylan, the problem is I can't even blame Sage and Jawan, because she has said both of their names.
Right.
And when someone says your name, and when someone says your name in general, it's hard to go back to that. But you're on a 4-person tribe. She said, you take away her, she said 2 of the other names. So it's like, you can't do much else otherwise.
Yeah. Sometimes I like when there's a dominance. Like, I think Survivor 45 was really good. Like, there was a dominance in that season, but with a tribe, but I think they were all really good players. And then the ending of how that ended up, like, was perfect. Like, it was really good. Like, there were some great moves towards the end of that season. I really love the cast of 45. And then you have a season like 46 where you could make an argument that the reason it was good was because it was the complete opposite. It was all over the place. There was no sticky alliances really, outside of like maybe a couple, right? Mm-hmm. And it was just like complete chaos the whole game. Everybody leaving with idols in their pocket, blindside after blindside all over the place. And that is entertaining. So I'm happy that Jawan and Sage made the move on Shannon, because I think it could be the right move to a point to just play with your tribe, especially when you have numbers. But also, like, at the end of the day, if she is going after both of you, it's in your best interest to get rid of them, right? So I'm sure they could very easily just go back to the Red tribe next episode, original Red, I should say, and be like, yeah, like, like Shannon was outrageous. She tried to go get both of us out. Like she needed to go. And then who knows how they'll react, but I think it was the right move. I think you had to get her out. She was too much of a wild card. If you would put her in the merge, like I think there's a decent chance that she gets caught in the same thing and just ends up getting voted out anyway there.
Yeah.
Like right away. But also like you risk a lot if you bring somebody like that to the merge who is just going to every person like that. And you never know what could happen.
And look, context matters, right? Like last week, and obviously we don't know how true this is because the edit doesn't tell the full story, but it's like last week they were even saying, oh, should we get rid of Jason or Juwan? And Jason's the easy vote because he's not aligned with us. But if we get rid of Juwan, that kind of shows Yellow that we're willing to vote out one of our own and we're willing to be open. It's not a clear cut, us versus them. And they vote out Jason. And I guarantee you, Dylan, if they show up on the beach the next day for the merge and Juwan's not there, I guarantee you Savannah's like, oh, you know what? That's fine because Juwan was on the bottom. We voted out one of our own and we showed Yellow that we're willing to play. I'm okay with Juwan going home, but because it's Shannon, she's going to be like, that's not okay. So I do think the context matters where I don't think they would have minded certain people from Red going home versus other people, but we're going to have to see how well Sage and Juwan rebound from this. And again, if Savannah's history has taught us anything, I don't think she's going to forgive this. Like I could see Rizzo and Nate kind of being like, all right, whatever, we'll move past it. I could see Savannah's kind of like D, which is ironic because they're both going to be playing together, but it's like she's kind of like D where it's like it's my way or the highway, and I'm not going to back down on it, and you're going to have to just accept it and roll with it. So
yeah, I could see Juwan being the merge boot. Like
I could see that.
I think he's like a pretty typical like of what a new era merge boot looks like. Yeah, I could see it happening. I'm curious, Ryan, is there anything else you want to touch on just from this episode or this season in general? But I think we've touched on a lot. I really did enjoy this episode. And I think it sets up for a good post merge.
I think it was a great episode, Dylan. I think, again, it was the conclusion of that Sage-Shannon feud, which was a great storyline for the pre-merge. I think it really gave us a lot of options for the merge. Again, whether it will still be Red versus Yellow or if Red's going to start to fight against themselves with this betrayal. Clearly, Blue Sophie has now been absorbed into Red, so Red overall has the numbers. And Alex has now made bonds with both Sophies, and I really do wonder where Alex is going to swing. So I do think this merge has a lot of options. I think Juwan is a great call out for a potential merge boot. Nate, to me, is someone who is like still an early merge boot, like first or second jury member that gets like taken out as a big threat. But Juwan does feel like a merge boot. If not him, maybe Sage. I think we covered most about this episode. I thought it was really good. A couple of quick small things that we didn't discuss just for fun. Dylan, I'm really glad this was brought up on Twitter because we love Q, and Q will say it like it is. Can we stop with the Uncle Jeff? Unk doesn't still got it. Can we stop with this? Q tweeted Dylan, is it just me or is the Uncle Jeff stuff getting annoying and kind of weird? And I'm like, they're trying too much with this Uncle Jeff stuff.
Well, I guess we know that Survivor 50 will not be calling him Uncle Jeff. So I guess that's one positive out of that tweet.
Colby is going to quit this game before he has to deal with Uncle Jeff and Riz God. Colby's like, why the hell did I come back here?
Are Kobe and Rizzo on the same starting tribe? Do we know if that's a thing?
If you give me 2 seconds, I can look.
I feel like the answer is yes, but I don't remember.
I thought I had it. Wait. Oh, yeah, they are.
Are they on the same tribe?
No. Yeah, I'll just say this. I'll say this, and if anyone doesn't want 50 tribe spoilers, just skip ahead for like 10 seconds. Oh my God, Colby Dylan is with Rizzo and Q and Angelina. Colby is gonna want to quit so fast. Colby is gonna die to be.
If that ends up being like the disaster tribe, oh my God,
this is actually cinema. Rizzo, Q, and Angelina stuck with Colby. Oh my God. the only thing that would have been better because Kyle's also there. The only thing that would have been better is if Coach was there instead of Kyle. Oh my God.
Who's the last on that tribe?
Oh, for the girls, it's Genevieve, Aubrey, and Stephanie.
In that, it's tribes of 3. Oh, 24. 24. I keep
So 8,
forgetting.
yeah.
So Stephanie, Genevieve, sheesh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Wow.
Colby's gonna lose his mind, but yeah, no more Uncle Jeff.
Yeah, no more Uncle Jeff.
And one more thing, Dylan, and I actually will be fair to Christina here with her little medical episode. I forgot in the excuse me, I forgot in the preseason. Jeff said this is one of the hottest seasons since Ko Wrong, and obviously every week he's like, oh, it's super hot. And also, I was going to send this to you after the show, but it's so hot, Jeff. They got Jeff doing the freaking Jim Harbaugh, Urban Meyer. Dylan, you catch this?
Yes.
Great.
They showed that. I saw people like speculating on Reddit, like, do you think Jeff has a medical moment this season? Like, because apparently they show that moment in the like the montage for the season or the preview, and people are like, "You think that's him having a medical?" And it's just funny that he's just exhausted from calling the challenge. It is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's one of the hottest seasons since Ko Wrong. So,
yeah. All right. I think that's all we got. We will hopefully be back soon enough to recap next week. And yeah, I'm excited for the post-merge. I think we'll have a much better post-merge than pre-merge. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think Dylan, slow start for the first 5. Episode 6, we finally got a good one. Hopefully this sets us up for the rest of the game.
Yep, and that's all we got.
All right, for the last time in the pre-merge, grab your torches and head back to camp.
Good night.